Welcome back. In this video, we are going to talk about the reviewing functions. Before we move on to the next topic, let's make sure you understand the functions to the very best. So let's go ahead and take this example here. So from the previous example, we are just going to remove this arrow function. So let's add here the function. Okay. And now here we'll convert to a more normal function expression. In this case, we'll get rid of the arrows here. Already we got rid of here. So next we do is to export this functionality here into another function. So like a calculate age function that we are gonna using before, so that we can do what we did in the last video, which was to call one function inside of the other function. So let's go ahead and declare this before this. So let's say constant cal age, okay, equals to function of birth year, okay, and here we are going to return the value. Here let's say the present year 2037 minus the birth year. So basically, as you can see in the both the functions, we have declared the birth year, right? So, but that's not a problem. This one is completely different from this function. These two function doesn't have any relations. Inside this function, you can declare birth year here. Inside this, you can declare here. These both are separate. They are not the same. Okay. So the birth year in this function not at all related to this birth year in this function. These are the two completely different parameters. So basically different variables. So we could tell that the variables outside this function, but let's not get confused. So what's matter here is parameter is really like a local variable to each function. So let's say we'll change here something. So we are going to remove this, and then we are going to write constant age equals to cal age of birth year. Okay. See, cal age we have declared here, right? So we are going to call it out here, and we are going to give our birth year value here, and this and all value is going to be stored in the form of age. Okay. So in this case, let's say that we are turning off this situation for some time, and let's just bring back our return here, return retirement here. So in this case, let's add the if and else statements also here. Okay. So we are going to log our output console.log, and we are not storing any variable here. So we are directly just calling out to the console. So here we will say until retirement, years left until retirement, and we are going to input our value 1991 is our year, and then here we'll add a string name called max. Okay. Similarly, we'll take one more example, console.log years left until retirement, and then here we'll take 1960 for example. Okay, and then we'll take here name called John. Okay, let's go ahead and declare it. Okay. As you can see, in the first case, years left until for retirement is 19 years. In the second case, it was minus 12, which means he was retired more than 12 years ago. So let's change this statement from minus 12, and let's say that minus 1. Okay, and analyze the process of data flow. So in the first statement, as you can see, function birth year, here we're returning our birth year value from okay. In this second function, we are going to declare years left until retirement, birth year and first name. Here we have declared. Okay, as you can see, here we're declaring all this stored value here into this called age, and then we are giving our retirement set constraint here. Okay, then we are giving the retirement here. So basically after returning this, it is just going to here, and it is getting logged out here. So we are getting our output here. So in order to make our retirement if reaches the zero, means before we get negative value, if we get zero, we'll put the constraints. For that, we need to use the if and else statements. So if and else statements needs to be declared within the return value inside the function. So let's go ahead and declare here. In the if statement, we are going to retire, set a constraint if the retirement is below zero. So here we are going to write return retirement, right? Okay. And in the else case, we are going to write return -1. So this is an universal value while writing the code, declaring it as a return 1. So, and then from this, we are going to console.log, and here we are going to declare this statement which we have just turned off, right? So we are going to use this statement here, as you can see. And similarly for this return also, we will be just declaring console.log, and then we are going to declare this. Okay. And then we'll remove this retirement here because we have already declared. So see, our output is changed here. So we have set our constraint if statement. In the if statement, our retirement value, it is above zero, right? So it is returning the value. So in the else statement, simply if it is getting minus more than value, simply just return -1. So it is returning -1. So we have given our output right to log, but here we are not getting values because once if the statement is getting executed, it comes to this if statement, and then after the statement is passed, it goes directly just go to return the retirement, and it just logs out and then goes to else. So this console is not getting executed. Similarly for this, so to make this executed, let's just copy this and then place it inside the return so that it gets executed before return is getting. Let me just put these in the brackets. I just forgot. See, here we got our output. As you can see, Max retires in 19 years. So here John retires in 12 years. So here we are getting -12, right? So it is showing, but here constraint we have set to 1. So because return 1, right? So here we can change if we want. Okay, like first name has already retired. Okay, now you can see the change here. See, we got our output clarified, right? Okay, so here in this function we get a birth year as an input. So try to analyze the function and the data flow from where we are going. So in this function, we get a birth here as an input and it is a number. Therefore, it is a good practice. And then also return a number. Okay, let's try this again by changing here our input value from 1960 to 1950. Okay. See, even though you change more negative value, it is showing just 1 because here we declared simply just return 1. Okay, so that, so if you want, you can just go ahead and change here 81, for example, not 80. Okay, see, 9 years left. It is getting changed, right? So here we have 3 different types of functions. So just pause this video and go through this all the details one by one. and then just let's get back to this video. So let's just go ahead and read all these types of functions here. And coming back to this video, here is a detailed review about how a function is created. So in this picture, you will get a clarity about how a function is getting created step by step. So let's go ahead through step by step. Pause your video and just go through this picture. Yeah, coming back, we are pretty much done with the functions. If you have any queries, let's just go ahead and rewind all these functions before proceeding to the next section. So that's it for this video.